Police promising a stronger, more multifaceted approach to getting illegal guns off the street. The Prime Minister suggests the region's banking sector needs diversity and competition. Grand Kadooment wayside vendors assured they will be accommodated on the new route. And in sports, the rain helps the USA create World Cup cricket history.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
I'm Pearson Bowen. The Barbados Police Service is promising more robust action to remove illegal guns from the streets. Commissioner of Police Richard Boyce gave the commitment during a media briefing called against the background of several fatal shootings. The island's top cop also pointed out that there's been an overall 8% decrease in crime so far this year compared with 2023. Rianne Phillips has the report.
The Barbados Police Service is promising to use high-impact interventions to tear illegal firearms out of the hands of criminals and return a state of normalcy to various communities. This message is coming from Commissioner of Police Richard Boyce, who says the service's intention to tackle the surge of firearm offences will be done in a more robust, multifaceted and results-oriented manner. In fact, Commissioner Boyce disclosed during the media conference that so far for this year, officers working around the clock have confiscated 27 firearms as well as 262 rounds of ammunition. He says firearm users can expect to feel the actions of officers who will be fair, firm and operating within the confines of the law.
The increased use of firearms within our communities was triggered mainly by disputes among persons who are familiar with each other, and unfortunately, their preferred manner in resolving these disputes is to resort to deadly force by utilizing these weapons. I must let it be known that our officers spend inordinate lengths of time to prevent some of these fatal shootings from occurring, and we have been successful in that effort. The intent is to save as many of our sons as possible. So this SOS intervention, that is Save Our Sons, is quite apt at this juncture.
Commissioner Boyce added that the other motive for some of the murders taking place on the island is the desire of individuals to acquire gold, specifically jewelry, which can readily be converted into cash. Meanwhile, the top court is reporting an overall 8% reduction in crime so far for this year.
An overall total of 444 cases of major crimes in 2023 when compared to 406 cases in 2024. A 9% reduction in major crimes when compared to last year. Looking at minor crimes in 2023, there were 2,265 cases in this category, as opposed to 2,085 cases in 2024, an 8% reduction in minor crimes.
Commissioner Boyce is calling on law-abiding citizens who have lawless relatives to encourage them to turn away from a life of crime. He says families should not wait until a wanted bulletin is issued to take up their hard-earned money to pay an attorney to represent their loved ones in the law courts, or to run to an airline agency to purchase a ticket to fly that wanted person out of the jurisdiction. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amar Motley suggests the banking sector in the Caribbean is in need of diversity and competition. She says these institutions, compared with countries like Canada, have been less dynamic to the Caribbean national.
You go to the same banks in Canada and you open an account in 10 minutes. Because of the pressure put on Caribbean countries with the loss and threat of the loss of correspondent banking, it takes 2 to 3 months, even if you are an individual heading up organizations, and for which the risk is seemingly much less. This is unacceptable. Our people cannot be financial lepers. When I was 16 years old, I walked into Royal Bank of Canada and I opened an account. Nobody asked me anything about a utility bill. Nobody asked me a whole host of questions. And while I understand the need for due diligence, I do know that it can be done far better with competition and that we can treat ourselves far better.
The Barbadian leader was among attendees at the Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum and Afreximbank's 2024 annual meetings in Nassau, the Bahamas. Prime Minister Motley, in paying tribute to President of Afreximbank, Professor Benedict Orama, says the institution has become a bridge across the Atlantic linking Africa and the Caribbean. She believes regional countries need not look north for investments.
We need to look within and across. And I believe that if we can find the appropriate instruments to mobilize capital and the savings of our people, and if we can find a way that makes it easy to understand what the possibilities for those investments can be, I believe that we can do far more to help ourselves even before we look to ask others to help us. I say so against the background that the reform of the global financial architecture is still critical.
Meanwhile, CARICOM Chairman and President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, wants members of the regional grouping to take advantage of their bilateral relations. He called for the building of trust and enhanced cooperation between the Caribbean and Africa. He informed member states the platform already exists for greater collaboration and partnerships between the two regions.
We have so many low-hanging fruits, We have to collectively put a value on what we have. And the future opportunities are in these very areas. Biodiversity service. We're talking about environmental services. But the world has lost, in the last 50 years, more than 60% of its biodiversity. Collectively, we have a rich opportunity in our biodiversity service. Let us value that opportunity. Let us place a value on it and start the conversation to shape the discussion around biodiversity.
Meanwhile, President of Suriname, Chandrika Prasad Santokhi, says the improved relationship between Africa and the region was long in coming. He says opportunities abound. Mr. Santokhi was among the panel for a plenary discussion entitled United We Stand, Divided We Fall, Building Alliances for Shared Prosperity for All Africans.
Today, when we are hearing and listening, we are listening to opportunities, business opportunities, financial opportunities, production opportunities, labor opportunities, connectivity opportunities. That's what we're hearing, that we have missed for many years. And that is what we have to embrace, looking at the future.
In other news now, vendors who normally ply their trade at the start of the Grand Kadooment route in Warrens have been assured they will be accommodated along the new route. This was confirmed by Chief Executive Officer of the National Cultural Foundation, Carol Roberts. She was speaking to members of the media following a special meeting with the vendors to present the new format for Bridgetown Market 2024.
I'm sure you would have noticed that there was a quick dying down of that hue and cry when they began to understand why the band leaders have requested the route. And they also appeared quite mollified when we were able to confirm that we've driven the route with the band leaders and the police and BDF on more than 2 occasions, and we're comfortable that we can make it work. We were able to show an aerial video of the route. We were able to show a provisional map of the route. We were able to give assurance to those vendors who would normally ply their trade at the start of the traditional route that we have made provision and comfortable provision for them along the new route.
Ms. Roberts has also dismissed suggestions the decision to host Bridgetown Market in 2 separate locations was done without consultations with some vendors. The Arts and Crafts Market will be held in public spaces in Bridgetown, while a tour was planned to look at some spaces along the Mighty Griner Highway. While acknowledging a need for better communication with some vendors, Ms. Roberts sought to explain why the shift was necessary.
It came about from a guideline from the Ministry of Health that there are sections of the mighty Brainerd Highway that no longer lend themselves to the safe sale and distribution of food and beverage, and even to the healthy environment for just general vending. Dust, flooding when it rains heavily would have been the two main concerns.
A triggered alarm at the Grantley Adams International Airport this afternoon resulted in people vacating the facility and a rapid response from emergency services. Some of the videos circulating on social media show many people gathered outside the airport and emergency vehicles arriving on the scene. This occurred around 1 this afternoon. Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard tells CBC News initial investigations appear to suggest it was caused by a glitch in the fire alarm system. CBC News understands it was the second time for the day that the alarm went off. We'll take a break here, but coming up, the Labour Minister stresses the importance of social dialogue. As countries focus on national development, Barbados has advised of the importance of social dialogue. Social dialogue is defined as including all types of negotiation, consultation, or simply exchange of information. Minister of Labour, Social Security and the Third Sector, Colin Jordan, says it must take place between workers and employers, the third sector and civil society. He was among the panel for a dialogue on improving coherence between economic and social policies. It formed part of the inaugural forum of the Global Coalition on Social Justice at the 112th Labour Conference.
It must include all those areas, all those organizations that interact with people closely and that understand the needs of human beings, the needs of our populations. Coherence in policy will happen if there is knowledge and understanding. A government does not have all the knowledge or the understanding, and so there must be social dialogue that underpins that approach and that journey to achieve coherence at the level of social and economic policy.
For yet another year, Barbadians will be given the opportunity to apply for the Energy Development Scholarship. It is envisioned to aid the island's energy transition by allowing Barbadians to pursue postgraduate programs of study relating to offshore energy development. Speaking at the launch for the 2024 scholarship, Energy Minister Senator Lisa Cummins encouraged people between the ages of 21 and 45 to apply.
The three areas that we've added this year are reflective of our own transitioning internal to the ministry and more broadly to the government in terms of the energy sector. And we have one, sustainable energy solutions, utility scale energy storage, and the management of utility power grids.
Senator Cummins adds the local energy sector is poised for further growth and various aspects will soon be coming on stream.
We have one onshore wind project so far. We have a second onshore wind project that has been in development now. And so we're now going to be looking to see how we can expand our capacity in wind onshore. But now we're looking for more and more persons who will build capacity and experience in offshore wind. We will have currently our first hydrogen project in Barbados. The capacity for skills development in that area will be important.
Barbadians are in for a treat tomorrow night as the island's junior calypsonians take to the stage in their first public appearance. The first of the junior Monarch tents come off tomorrow night at Queen's Park beginning at 6. Artists will perform in both the soca and calypso categories. Cultural Officer of Music Education and producer of the Scotiabank Junior Monarch competition, Kevin Moore, says the aim is to get the youngsters comfortable on stage.
But some of them, this will be their first time on stage in front of a big crowd outside of school or whatever the case may be. So get comfortable on the stage, get familiar with the Junior Monarch audience, which is different from most other audiences in Barbados. Get familiar with where they want to shoot off their punching points and stuff like that, so that by the time we come around to the semi-finals, everything is on par.
While acknowledging the 50th year of the Crop Over Festival, Mr. Moore says the development of young Calypsonians will ensure they embrace the art form and share their talents with the world. Mentors were also utilized to bring out the best from the youngsters.
We've had 2 mentorship sessions so far. Our mentors have been amazing, and in the mentorship sessions, each contestant gets one-on-one advice and information from the mentors that we've selected. And the mentors we have are Red Plastic Bag, and his exploits are well known. Matt Finger, we have Lisa Howell, assisting with vocal training, Rochelle Griffith, we have Grateful Cole.
The Business Report is brought to you with the kind compliments of the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
In business tonight, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley has advised Caribbean and African countries that opportunities exist in cruise tourism that remains untapped. Currently, she says Africa and the Gulf states have the lowest penetration in global cruise tourism. In her address at the Africa-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum and Afreximbank's 2024 annual meetings in the Bahamas, she told those present the time has come for investors that the Caribbean and Africa work together.
To be able to pursue initially the leasing of a cruise ship, the chartering of it, and focusing directly on the things that our people like to do, because I really believe that it will become tremendously successful. But it should be done first and foremost by us, for us. And that may mean leasing initially until we have the capacity to own the vessels ourselves.
Ms. Motley wants Caribbean countries to move towards being all year-round destinations rather than tourism being divided into summer and winter seasons.
But if you are only focusing on North Atlantic countries, then you will hear about winter and summer, because the North Atlantic countries go to Europe and the Mediterranean in the summer. They stay within their own country in the summer. And yet, those of us who are here don't see snow. But the absence of that transport link has meant that we don't sufficiently develop the tourism markets for this region.
Grenada's tourism officials are moving to deepen relations with Barbados in a bid to entice more citizens to visit the Spice Isle. This, as statistics show, Barbados is the country's second largest source for regional travel. And on Thursday, its tourism teams rolled out the Pure Grenada Expo at the Sands Hotel. Rihanna Phillips was there and filed this report.
Billed as the Pure Grenada Expo, the event included a cross-section of what's available in the Spice Isle. Chief Executive Officer of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Petra Roach, explains why her team came to Barbados.
Barbados is the second largest market for us out of the Caribbean. So we've got Trinidad first, we've got Barbados second. And I must say that with the support of our airline partners, it actually can vie for that first position. We've got 3 really strong airline partners, again, starting with Inter-Caribbean Airlines. They have 11 flights weekly into Grenada from Barbados. We then have Virgin twice a week in summer, 3 times in the winter, and anybody who hasn't flown on a wide-bodied, that's a perfect opportunity. And then, of course, our beloved Caribbean Airways, which has a daily service from Barbados. So there's no excuse for anybody that they can't get there.
The expo featured displays from accommodation, aviation, chocolate manufacturing, along with culture, including spice masks. And participants told us what they're hoping to achieve.
We want to grow our market in Barbados. Grenada is very, very different to Barbados as an island. We're mountainous, waterfalls. I mean, we all have beaches, but Grenada's beach is really lovely. Yeah, so we were hoping to grow the Barbados market as well, so that's why we're here today.
So what we're really showcasing is the wonderful chocolate and cocoa that we have, the different chocolate companies that we have, and also letting everyone know that we have a wonderful chocolate festival that we do every year in Grenada. It's kind of a 4 to 5 day chocolate extravaganza where gets guests to come to the Grenada. They get to meet the different chocolate companies, the different farmers behind the cocoa, and a whole array of experiences from chocolate making, harvesting cocoa, visiting the farms, chocolate massage, chocolate face massage, chocolate bar making, a whole different array of excursion experiences.
So Grenada having this destination promotion, it is an amazing promotional act. It gives us the opportunity to really embrace what we have, really offer what we have as an island, and of course, business-wise, have that relationship, that partnership with the Caribbean.
During the Expo, Barbadians also got a chance to sample Grenadian food and snacks. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
She's back with more sports. Anne-Marie.
Yes, Pearson. This is how the semi-finals were settled in the secondary schools under-15 volleyball competition after the quarterfinals were completed at the Wildy Gym. Here's a look at that action. Let's serve off with girls' action where Queen's College back in the screen and the Lodge School made it a 3-set game with QC taking the first and Lodge the second. So we're into the crucial deciding third, the first to 16 points. Both teams fighting for the right time to strike, and this time going cross-court is Lodge's Naima Aline. Lodge with the serve again, and the pickup is not controlled, so it's into the net. Queen's College keeping it tight though. Josiah Coward delivers an ace. But then she hits into the net to shift the game Lodge's way. And then the rally that truly represented the essence of this encounter, both teams going at it hard to maintain control and looking for that avenue to gain the point. The ball was passed back and forth. Each time the ball kept in play. And then at the net it was settled. Diaford Haynes and QC celebrates. It's now a 1-point game in their favor. But Lodge was about to flip the script. Here comes you, Kyla Dalloway, spiked into front midcourt, and we're leveled at 14 all. Just 2 points needed, and Aline delivers an ace. Set and game point. The serve comes in, QC picks it up, but at the net is Dalloway. Law School take the deciding set 16-14. Semi-finals, here they come. The second quarterfinal between the St. Michael's School and Aline was not as competitive, but what we saw was good play from either side. SMS with the point here thanks to Sienna Hall. SMS with the serve, and this time it will be Aline on the winning end. Gunnar Yearwood executing the play. She then delivered an ace that sent the girls from the east into celebration mode. But in the grand scheme of things, the SMS girls, having already taken the first set at 25-19, was all about closing out the second. And while kudos is given to Aline for making them work for it, they would also take the second at 25-14. SMS advanced to the semis. The boys now are also into their semi-final. Of course, I speak of the SMS boys. Ironically, like the girls, getting past Aline in 2 sets. The dink in front court does the trick on this play. Here they are with the serve, nicely received, and a Johnny Clark looking to deliver a free ball, gets lucky, and it's Aline to gain the point. Clark now on the serve, and the SMS boys size up themselves to create the play, but it's a free ball instead. Literally ball in Aline's court now, or not. So could this be where a point will be claimed? Switching up for the double hand dink is Christian Skeet. This was no walk in the park for either team. They had to really fight to keep the ball in play. Aline looking promising. Oh no, it's back to the SMS boys, and the attempt at spike is rejected. So let's see who would actually win out in the end. Emmanuel Waldron at the net secured it for Aline. But after taking the first set 25-20, SMS will secure the second and a semi-final place by taking the second at 25-23. Nathan Maynard putting the stamp of approval on it. And the other semi-finalists in the boys will be Queen's College back in the screen, who also claimed a 2-set win, 25-17, 25-21, over arch rivals Harrison College. And the semi-finals were scheduled to play this evening with the final set for next week.
Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. Have a wonderful weekend.